Romantic Tales. Chapter 611. I don't think that's a good idea. I'm just his wife. Don't you need to talk to my husband about company matters? But I can't get through to President Chin's phone. It's probably out of battery. Assistant Yang wanted to cry. Then, where's the chairman? Huamin asked anxiously. The chairman isn't home. I just called and told him that he went out to play golf. His wife told us to talk to you about this. She told you to talk to me? Huamin asked faintly. Yes. Okay, wait a second, I'll be right there. After Huamin hung up the phone, he immediately put away his things and rushed downstairs. A young lady, you're not eating breakfast? Butler Uncle Lee asked. I'm not eating, Uncle Lee, I have to go to the company. I'm sorry for the trouble. Don't waste food, everyone eat. Okay, I'll go arrange it. The truth was Huamin felt quite guilty. It was early in the morning and the kitchen and maids had been busy preparing breakfast for her. But now she said she wasn't eating. Huamin got into his car and called Southside to ask for a day off. Then he drove directly to GK headquarters in less than 20 minutes. He sped all the way, the fastest car in history. GK headquarters, Assistant Yang personally went downstairs to pick up Huamin. A young lady, come with me. Huamin nodded and followed Assistant Yang up to a small conference room on the top floor. There were 7 or 8 people in the conference room. They were the people in charge of the film and television company, people from the public relations department, and executives involved in the planning of this event. Jiang Linyue was also present. Assistant Yang pointed at Huamin and introduced, "Let me introduce you to our president's wife, Mrs. Huamin." After Assistant Yang finished speaking, everyone was dumbfounded except for Jiang Linyue. She quietly looked at Huamin with an indifferent expression. "Hello, a young lady." Everyone greeted her. Huamin nodded in greeting. "Hello everyone, please take a seat." Afterwards, Assistant Yang took out a bunch of documents and placed them on the table. He then said anxiously, "Time is limited, so I'll keep this short. Boss has been planning for the opening of his new company. Originally he had everything prepared, but since last night Annie Liang's scandal was exposed, so she can no longer walk the red carpet. Boss also told her not to show up. Therefore we are only left with the stars who have signed agreements of intent with us. But this morning those stars collectively went on strike. To put it bluntly, they breached the agreement and all of them returned to Imperial Star. Now we are only left with some unknown second and third-rate stars. We don't have anyone who can control the situation. The opening ceremony is less than 2 hours away. At that time we will be the center of attention and we will be laughed at. At the same time, our company's reputation will be affected. Chapter 612. Director Jiang, it's no use complaining right now. Let's think of a solution. Forget about defaming him, let's take care of our own business first. It's best if we don't get into big trouble, Assistant Yang advised. What can we do? In my opinion, we should just postpone the date and wait for President Qin to come back, Jiang Linyue said nonchalantly as she played with her nails. Before anyone else could speak, Huamin said, "We can't change the date. President Qin already announced on TV that he won't change the date. If we change the date now, everyone will think that he's going back on his word, and it will affect his reputation in the future." Huh? Is that so? Everyone knows that, but what else can we do? A young lady, you're so resourceful, why don't you tell us what to do? Jiang Linyue was full of hostility towards Huamin. She wanted to use this opportunity to fight back. Huamin immediately knew what Jiang Linyue was thinking. Ignoring her, he looked around and said, "Don't worry, the only thing we can do right now is to discuss what to do." Then Huamin looked at Assistant Yang and asked, "Is there no room for negotiation for the celebrities that breached the contract?" "Yes, they've all turned off their phones and won't pick up their phones. Obviously this is a scheme by Imperial Star. They wiped us out and then disappeared at a critical moment, leaving us with no celebrities to use," Assistant Yang said, breaking down. "Then if we can get a famous celebrity to join us, will the problem be solved?" Huamin asked again. "Not only that, but the celebrities that can appear on our red carpet must be signed with our company. Otherwise, it'll be very embarrassing if the media expose them." It sounded like it would be quite difficult. "Okay, I got it. How about this, wait for me." Then Huamin got up and walked out of the conference room. Huamin walked out of the conference room and picked up his phone. She did have a candidate in mind, but she felt like the chances of success were very low. Huamian called Ni Yang. That's right, she called him. The call went through and it was indeed Ingzi's voice. Hello. I'm looking for Anai Yang. He's busy. Who are you? I'm Huamin. Oh, is something the matter? The agent didn't like Huamin very much, especially after the incident with Anai Yang when he was drunk. She was still brooding over it and had even written several letters of complaint to President Wu. It's like this. I want to ask if he's signed with a new company. What does that have to do with you? Why do you care so much about which company he signs with? Ingzi's tone was harsh. No, I just wanted to ask if he's not sure yet. Can he consider GK Film and Television? Don't be ridiculous. GK Film and Television, that new company? Why would we take the risk and choose a new company? To tell you the truth, we've already decided to go to Imperial Star. President Su offered us a very good deal. Not only did he offer us a sky-high price, but he also gave us a lot of benefits that GK can't afford. Are you really not going to consider it? I won't consider it. Goodbye. After saying that, Ingzi hung up the phone before Huamin could reply. Huamin's brows furrowed slightly. Sister Ingzi, who was that? On the other end, Anai Yang, who was touching up his makeup, looked over and asked. Oh, a small agency. They're asking if you're going to sign with them. Didn't we already sign with Imperial Star? Turn them down. Anai Yang didn't know what was going on. Kim, I already turned them down. Ingzi put down her phone and placed it in Anai Yang's bag. Then she walked over. Huamin looked down at his watch. Time was indeed tight. She gritted her teeth and dialed another number. She really didn't want to beg that person for help. But, for Qin Chu, she decided to sacrifice her dignity for once. Chapter 6:13. Little Sister Mion, you actually called me? Hua Xiqian sounded slightly surprised. After all, no matter what happened, Huamin never contacted Hua Xiqian. Even after Jixin's car accident, she gritted her teeth and didn't contact him. Both of them knew that she didn't like him. Huamin remained silent. Little Sister Mion, do you need something? Yeah. What is it? Hua Xiqian woke up from his bed and rubbed his eyes. You have a lot of connections. Can you introduce me to some A-list celebrities? One is enough. You want to help GK recruit people? Yeah. But I heard that GK doesn't need people. Annie Liang went over, right? Also, didn't a lot of people leave Imperial Star? Hua Xiqian asked, even though he already knew the answer. Something happened to them and they can't make it. The red carpet ceremony is in less than 2 hours and they're in a hurry, so... Can you help me? So... Little Sister Mion, are you begging me? Hua Xiqian smiled proudly. He held his phone in one hand and took a sip of water with the other. Yes, I'm begging you. But, why should I help you? As expected, Hua Xiqian wasn't easy to talk to. I won't let you help me for free, I can pay you. How much? For the first time, Huamin learned how to use money to pressure people just like Suyu. Money. Oh, Little Sister Mion, why are you so cute? Don't joke around. Do I look like I need money? The Hua family isn't bankrupt, right? Then what do you want? Tell me. About that. Can you really satisfy my every request? As long as it's within my means and doesn't cross my bottom line or moral line, Huamin added. Of course. I like you so much. How could I bear to make things difficult for you? Hua Xiqian smiled. So, do you agree to help me? Huamin asked nervously. She was actually a little scared, so she lacked confidence. If Hua Xiqian rejected her as well, she would really be at her wits' end. Were they really going to watch GK Film and Television become a laughingstock? It was impossible for her to beg Suyu because he was her opponent. If she begged him, she and Qin Chu would lose face. No problem. You came to me because you're sure that I'll help you. What's there to worry about? You're as scheming as always. That idiot Hui Yanyan won't be able to learn this even if she learns it for the rest of her life. Let's not talk about this nonsense right now. I heard that you're close to Best Actress Emo Shweka, and she hasn't signed with a new company yet. Can you come? Huamin did his homework before making the call. Best Actress Emo Shweka was even more famous than Annie Liang. Because she focused on the international market, she rarely acted in domestic movies. Most of her movies were big Hollywood productions. Although she was only a supporting actress, her international influence was already very high. Apparently, Emo Shweka was close to Hua Xiqian. Their relationship was exposed many times and there was even news of their marriage. However, for some reason, it never came to fruition. Many tabloids said that Emo Shweka was Hua Xiqian's favorite woman. If it weren't for Hua Jinghai's insistence on opposing a daughter-in-law from the entertainment industry, they would have been married a long time ago. However, the two of them never said anything, so the specifics remained to be seen. You little rascal. Did you do your homework? Yes or no, just tell me. Huamin was a little impatient. Of course, no problem. I promise that Shuier will come to GK and sign the contract within an hour. Hua Xiqian was very confident. That's great. Huamin was ecstatic. But I have one condition. What is it? Huamin listened quietly on the other end of the phone. If Hua Xiqian's request was too much, she would never agree, even if she couldn't sign Mo Shuier. Chapter 6:14. I want you to come back to the Hua mansion this weekend and spend the night there, Hua Xiqian said word for word. Why? Huamin frowned slightly. You don't have to worry about that, I just want you to come back and spend the night there. That's it? Huamin asked uncertainly, still holding a grudge against Hua Xiqian. He felt like a cunning person like Hua Xiqian wouldn't just make such a simple request. Yes, that's it. It's a good deal for you, sis, don't think too much about it. Hua Xiqian saw that Huamin was very cautious and hesitant, so he smiled and said, Okay, deal. Huamin replied without hesitation. Good, it's a deal. After hanging up the phone, Huamin finally felt a little better. However, wasn't Mo Shuier a little too shabby? After all, GK was a well-known financial group in China. The opening ceremony of a film and television company should be very grand. Inside the suite of the Ritz-Carlton Hotel in T-City, Qin Chu dialed again and again, no matter if he used his own phone or the hotel's landline. He just couldn't get through. It was as if all the phones around him were malfunctioning. However, he could call an unknown number, but he couldn't get through to Huamin, Gao Ran, Rick and the others. President Qin were done for. The opening ceremony is in 2 hours and we don't know what's going on over there. Is it too late to fly back now? Qin Chu looked at the man and asked. It's too late. What about a private jet? A private jet? If it's fast it's possible, the man beside him said. Okay, I'll go borrow one right now. Call Mayor Gao immediately. Hey, President Qin. Qin Chu felt that someone was behind this and used a hacker to cut off his communication with C-City. Even if he sent an email, it would be too late. After all, this wasn't something that could be explained in a few sentences. Since Qin Chu's phone had an anti-hacker function, the person who did this could only block his communication with T-City. It seems that there are people who want me to lose. Qin Chu sneered. 3 minutes later, Qin Chu spoke to Mayor Gao of T-City. Then Mayor Gao borrowed a private jet from a local tycoon. Qin Chu took a private jet and flew straight back to C-City. But according to the time, the opening ceremony would begin by the time he returned. Time was really tight. Huamin had just finished dealing with an important matter and was about to return to the meeting room to make plans. Then his phone rang. It was Ai Yang. Hello? Sister Huamin, did you just call me? Okay. Huamin nodded. Sister Ingzi doesn't like you very much, so she didn't tell me. However, I sent her away and secretly looked at the caller ID on my phone. You must be looking for me for something, right? The truth is, I wanted to ask if you could sign with GK. GK, what? Ai Yang froze slightly. He didn't expect Huamin to be talking about work. The truth is, GK's president, Mr. Qin Chu, is my husband. Huamin decided to tell him the truth. GK's big boss is your husband? Ai Yang was shocked as well. Yes, GK has been planning to start a film and television company, but something happened. My husband is stuck in T-City, and all the celebrities who wanted to sign with GK have gone back to Imperial Star. The opening ceremony is about to begin, but there aren't any celebrities to support it. It's very embarrassing, so I wanted to ask if you could come. I see. Ai Yang slightly hesitated. Don't worry about it, it's okay if you don't come. However, if you do, we'll treat you the same way as Imperial Star. We won't mistreat you. Sister Huamin, the truth is I don't care about material things anymore. I know, so I don't want to give you a hard time. I just wanted to ask you with a glimmer of hope. Sister Huamin, if Sister Ingzi finds out that I signed with GK in private, she'll kill me, Ai Yang said slowly. Okay, I got it. Huamin was just about to hang up when Ai Yang continued, even if she kills me, I'll still help you this time. Wait for me, I'll be there in 20 minutes. Huamin froze in shock. Her heart raced. Was she sure she heard right? Chapter 6:15. See you in a bit, Sister Huamin. Then before Huamin could reply, Yang quickly hung up the phone. When Huamin returned to the conference room, she felt like she was floating. It was as if everything that happened just now was an illusion. She didn't have high hopes for Yang after all, they weren't close enough. But as for Huo Xiqian, to be honest, she knew that as long as she called he would definitely help her. Huamin was dressed very casually today. She planned to go to work in the morning, so she only wore a pair of black pencil pants and a pink shirt. She also wore a small white jacket. When she returned, Assistant Yang immediately stood up. A young lady, there's less than an hour left. Huamin nodded. Then she casually picked up the bottle of water on the table and took a sip. So, what should we do? Just wait, we'll know in half an hour. What's the result? Assistant Yang asked. Mo Schwerer and Yang will both arrive in half an hour, sign the contract and walk the red carpet. As soon as Huamin finished speaking, Jiang Linyue started laughing. A young lady? Are you kidding with us? Mo Schwerer? That international movie queen who's so arrogant that her nose is pointing at the sky, why would she sign with us? She didn't even want to go to Imperial Star. I heard that she wants to sign with Hollywood. Yang won't sign with us either. Internal sources say that Yang signed with Imperial Star for 300 million yuan, Jiang Linyue said in disdain. I'm sorry, Director Jiang, I don't have time to joke with you guys. Now don't just sit here, go do your own things and prepare for the opening ceremony. After speaking, Huamin turned to look at Xiaoyang. Please prepare a dress for me. I can't wear this to the red carpet. Huamin also threw caution to the wind. Although she really hated being on camera and being exposed, if Qinchu did not come back she would walk the red carpet on behalf of Qinchu. Okay, a young lady, please wait a moment. Do you really believe that woman? She must be bluffing. Those two celebrities won't come, that's ridiculous. Jiang Linyue thought Huamin was delusional. Perhaps he was under too much pressure so he was having delusions. However, everyone else listened to Huamin, especially Assistant Yang, who didn't care about what Jiang Linyue said at all. They were busy with what they needed to do. Huamin wore a pure white gown that Assistant Yang had someone deliver to her. It was off-shoulder and simple, but it was very elegant. Apparently, this gown was Chanel's newest design. Victoria, the wife of soccer star David Beckham, wore it at Fashion Week just a day ago. It was a very elegant gown without any embellishments or patterns, but it was still breathtaking. After putting on the gown, Huamin sat down obediently and allowed the makeup artist to do her makeup. Give me a thicker makeup, it's best if it doesn't look like me. Chapter 6:16. Huamin immediately said slowly, I'm here. The manager was shocked when she saw Huamin. He was a completely different person from half an hour ago. Even you can't recognize me, looks like it's a success. A young lady, please come over and sign the contract. Huamin followed the people from GK to the VIP room. Mo Schwerer and Yang sat there. You signed with GK too? Mo Schwerer was slightly surprised when she saw Yang. Yeah. But didn't internal sources say that you're going to Imperial Star? Mo Schwerer was confused. Internal sources also said that you're going to sign with Hollywood. Yang replied with a question. I'm signing with GK because of my friend. Me too. Okay. Mo Schwerer was speechless. One phone call from Huo Xiqian was enough to make her sacrifice her life for him. She was deeply in love with Huo Xiqian for 5 years. The reason why she became famous was because of Huo Xiqian's support. However, she waited for so long and still couldn't marry into the Huo family. To be honest, she really wanted to give up. However, today Huo Xiqian suddenly called her and told her to sign with GK. She was extremely excited. Huo Xiqian didn't want her to sign with GK in the States. Did that mean that they still had a chance? Women were all naive and stupid, especially those who were infatuated. Mo Schwerer was no exception. Huo Xiqian managed to get Huo Xiqian, who Imperial Star spent a lot of money on but couldn't get. Yang, who was rumored to have signed with Imperial Star for 300 million yuan, was also here. He didn't tell his agent that he was here. He only wore a thin shirt and a mask and hailed a cab. He looked like a mess, but he was full of sincerity. Sister Huamin. Yang stood up when he saw Huamin walk in. You can still recognize me like this? Huamin asked, amused. I also often wear heavy makeup, so I'm more sensitive to this. Sit down. Seeing that Ni Yang was wearing too little, Huamin couldn't bear it. This child was too practical. Xiao Yang, turn on the air conditioner. Okay, a young lady? You're President Qin's wife? But, is President Qin married? Mo Shuai was confused. Let's not talk about this for now. The two of you, let's start signing the contract. Do you have any problems with it? What are your conditions? After that, Huamin took the two contracts from his secretary. Both of them offered 300 million, exactly the same as Imperial Stars. The two of them looked at each other for a moment and didn't say anything. They picked up their pens and signed their names confidently. The two of them signed the contract because they didn't care about money at all. They only cared about favors. After Huamin took the contract, he picked up Qin Chu's signature and stamped it. Then he signed his name and stamped it with his thumbprint. Thank you. From now on, GK Film and Television will definitely support you. Chapter 6:17. He really wanted to see what kind of god Qin Chu was, to be able to turn the situation around. In a bit, when all the celebrities are done, you can go up and congratulate them. Don't make them think that you're a petty competitor, Wei Liao suggested. Of course, Suyu continued to be proud. Although he hadn't made any progress in pursuing Huamin, he still felt good about beating Qin Chu in the business world. After all, he was Huamin's current husband. Huh? Why did the word current pop into his mind? He made it sound like Huamin could get a divorce, but there was still a next one. At this thought, Suyu couldn't help but laugh. This was the best day he'd been in a while. At 9:30 a.m., the red carpet was laid out from the entrance of the Hilton Hotel in Sea City to the auditorium. Hundreds of media reporters came to surround them and take photos. Many famous people from the business world and the political world also came. However, they all entered the venue and waited for the lunch banquet. The people walking the red carpet were all GK's executives as well as their contracted celebrities. After the famous male and female hosts gave their opening remarks, the red carpet officially began. Some third-rate celebrities began to enter the venue and everyone waited with bated breath. I heard that President Qin isn't in the city. He won't be able to make it to today's opening ceremony. Yeah, things in T-City haven't been settled yet, so President Qin probably won't come back. I heard that Annie Liang won't be able to make it either, because a fan saw her in Thailand this morning. He probably went abroad to avoid the limelight. This guy can't come, that guy can't come. GK's grand red carpet is going to turn into a gathering of small celebrities. Everyone began to discuss. After 7 or 8 small celebrities walked onto the red carpet, suddenly, a beautiful figure appeared at the end of the red carpet. She wore a bright red evening gown with a V-shaped back. She wore Korean-style nude makeup, stunning everyone. Someone in the crowd yelled, "Look, isn't that Mo Shuai? I can't believe she's here." "Aw, isn't she going to Hollywood? Why did she sign with GK? Yeah, I haven't seen Mo Shuai in a long time. I heard that her movie with a Hollywood star is going to be released next month. She's so beautiful now. She's so different from an international model. She's so elegant." The man in the black Bentley couldn't stay calm either. Fuck. Mo Shuai, why is she here? Tang Chuan was going crazy. Then Wei Liao also went crazy. Suyu on the other hand was still fine. He only snorted coldly. Looks like this is Hua Xiqian's masterpiece. Hua Xiqian? Why would he go against you? Wei Liao was startled. He's not going against me. He's trying to help Huamin. Suyu seemed to have seen through the situation. Help Huamin? Is his relationship with Huamin that good? Wei Liao was a little confused. He didn't understand at all. At this moment, another scream came from the crowd. The surrounding reporters and fans were about to go crazy. Look, Anna Yang is here. Oh my god, he's here. He's so handsome, I haven't seen him smile in a long time. Anna Yang's appearance caused a huge commotion. This was because he was even more influential than Mo Shuai. Anna Yang was famous for being cold and arrogant, so he rarely smiled. So when he walked down the red carpet in a black suit with a charming smile on his face, the crowd went crazy and the fans screamed, "This is going to be interesting." Suyu smiled faintly. Mo Shuai and Anna Yang. Superstars began to appear one after another. Didn't Anna Yang say that he signed a contract with them? What kind of mistake did they make? As soon as Suyu finished speaking, Wei Liao immediately said, "Lord Su, look, the woman behind Anna Yang. The woman with smoky makeup. Why does she look so familiar?" Suyu narrowed his eyes and took a closer look. He was completely petrified. Chapter 6:18. Is Huamin crazy? Suyu was speechless as soon as he opened his mouth. Wei Liao almost vomited blood upon hearing Suyu's words. Is that Huamin? Wei Liao thought to himself, no wonder she looks so familiar, it's Huamin. But today wasn't Halloween, was it really okay for her to cross-dress and cosplay in public? That's Huamin, oh my god, she's really my mother. Tang Chuan was also shocked. It's definitely her, I'd recognize her even if she turned into ashes, Suyu said with certainty. That's right, Suyu had watched Huamin multiple times a day and had memorized most of her facial features. What's going on? I don't understand at all, Wei Liao mumbled. Huamin's appearance not only confused Suyu and the others, but also confused many of the media. None of them knew Huamin, but they saw her appear on the red carpet behind Yang. She looked different, so they furiously snapped photos of Huamin. She's probably one of the newbies selected by GK, I've never seen her before, a reporter guessed. I think so, or else why would she appear behind Yang? It seems like GK is becoming more and more mysterious. Everyone was chatting away. Our Lord Su's eyes were glued to her. Hey, stop looking, you might never be able to look away. Wei Liao waved his hand in front of Suyu's face. Smoky makeup seems to suit her, Suyu mumbled quietly. Wei Liao looked at him and actually felt that what he said made sense, so he nodded. I have the same feeling. It's amazing. That's why I said Huamin is a weirdo. Only a weirdo like him can control such a weirdo style. Lord Su, I don't think the person you fell in love with is an earthling at all. Tang Chuan couldn't stop laughing when he heard their conversation. Although Huamin didn't have much experience on the stage, she was determined to hold on for GK for a while. Therefore he stood on the stage and allowed the media to take photos of him. There were even media outlets that wanted to interview him, trying to get first-hand information. Fortunately, they were all stopped by Assistant Yang and the people from the Public Relations Department. Jiang Linyue watched from below and was extremely jealous. Why was this woman so capable? Jiang Linyue thought she was awesome enough to win over the pretentious Annie Liang. However, in the last 2 hours Huamin signed 2 extremely influential superstars, Mo Shuer and Yang. She was speechless. Huamin originally thought that GK was finally in the limelight this time. When her husband came back, she would be able to tell him that she didn't embarrass him. However, just as the red carpet was about to end, a silver Maybach screeched to a stop outside the entrance. Then the person inside got out of the car. He wore a dark gray slim-fit suit. His cold and handsome face couldn't hide his peerless beauty. Chapter 6:19. Qin Chu walked towards Huamin one step at a time. The crowd was still filled with screams and the sound of cameras clapping. Christina, Andrew? Many people didn't care about their image and crazily shouted the names of the 2 foreign superstars. The 2 superstars walked down the red carpet hand in hand with smiles on their faces. Then they posed for selfies and waved to the people around them. Fuck. I can't take it anymore, I'm going to get an autograph. Tang Chuan couldn't take it anymore and pushed open the car door to get out. However, Wei Liao stopped him. Sit still, don't make things difficult for Lord Su at a time like this. I'm a true fan of Christina, I created a Facebook account for her. Tang Chuan looked like he was wronged. Sit still, don't even think about hitting on foreign girls. She has a partner and there are so many reporters here, don't make a fool of yourself. In the end, Wei Liao extinguished Tang Chuan's desire to chase after his idol. Suyu didn't say anything and just watched quietly from the car. Qin Chu walked up to Huamin. Huamin thought that even if other people didn't recognize him, Qin Chu definitely wouldn't, as expected. Qin Chu walked up to her and held her hand in front of everyone. Then he whispered in her ear, "Honey, thank you for your hard work." Huamin shook his head. Just as he was about to speak, he felt a lump in his throat and almost burst into tears. She used to be strong, but why did she cry so much lately? Was it because she was too easily moved? Qin Chu knew about her grievances and her persistence. She didn't need to say anything, Qin Chu understood. This was the tacit understanding they had developed over the years. Even though they didn't know each other for 7 years, no one knew each other better than they did. The appearance of 2 foreign superstars at the end of GK Film and Television's opening ceremony was the icing on the cake. No one knew that Qin Chu and Andrew had known each other since they were in the States and they were friends. They had known each other before Andrew was famous. Now, with one word from Chin Chu, Andrew appeared in Sea City with his rumored girlfriend, Christina. In fact, they had arrived here 2 days ago, but their whereabouts had been very secretive. Because Chin Chu wasn't in the city, Rick had arranged for them to stay in a hotel. It was very confidential. Therefore, none of the media knew that when the two of them appeared today, the crowd immediately exploded. Surprise after surprise, Mo Shui and I Yong, Christina, Andrew, and the appearance of Chin Chu himself. What was originally a mess due to a star breaking the contract had suddenly turned into a grand banquet. Aside from Huamin and Chin Chu, no one else would do something like this. Hyo Chin seemed to have predicted that Suyu would make a move, so he had asked his foreign friends to help him. However, he didn't think that Huamin would invite two big shots as well. The saying husband and wife are connected by heart was true. Why are you crying? Chin Chu looked at Huamin and didn't say anything, but tears welled up in her eyes. He gently raised his hand and wiped away her tears. Huamin shook her head, but she still couldn't speak. She was afraid that as soon as she opened her mouth she would burst into tears. Don't cry, your makeup will be ruined and you'll look like a panda, Chin Chu teased her on purpose. As expected, Huamin couldn't help but laugh when she heard what Chin Chu said. I thought you wouldn't make it back in time, Huamin finally said with difficulty. Of course not, I won't leave you here alone. Chin Chu rushed back and finally made it back to Tea City. He used the mayor's help and borrowed a private jet to return to Sea City, just in time for the end of the opening ceremony. It was truly thrilling. Just then Suyu opened the car door and walked out. Is he going to fight? Tang Chuan asked as he looked at Suyu's back. Suyu was dressed quite formally today. He was wearing white pants, a black shirt and a white vest. It was different from his usual casual attire, but it was still dazzling. Look, isn't that President Su from Imperial Star? Is he here to cause trouble? Below the stage, the reporters discussed. Chapter 6:20. Suyu walked towards Chin Chu and Huamin, one step at a time. Everyone held their breaths. They were waiting to see what kind of show the Crown Prince was going to put on. Based on past experience with Suyu's fiery temper, nothing good would come out of it. He might even come to cause trouble. When Chin Chu and Huamin saw Suyu, they weren't surprised. Even if he was a competitor, it was reasonable for him to come to an event like this. President Chin, congratulations. Suyu reached out his hand. Thank you, President Su. Chin Chu reached out his hand as well, and the two shook hands gently. Those who didn't know what was going on wouldn't be able to tell, but those who knew what was going on would know. You won this time, Suyu said quietly. I was lucky. Chin Chu didn't look proud at all. He was still as cold as ever. But this is just the beginning, it'll get better. Suyu's words were undoubtedly a declaration of war. It meant that this was just the beginning of a war, not the end. I'm looking forward to it. Chin Chu had always been a proud person, so he only replied with 2 words. The surrounding reporters only saw the two shake hands and congratulate each other. They didn't know what was going on, so they took photos like crazy. Finally, Suyu glanced at Huamin and faintly said, your style is very unique. Then Suyu couldn't help but laugh and turn around to leave. Huamin rolled his eyes at him. Did he have to be so reserved when mocking others? After the opening ceremony, the VIPs gathered in the ballroom for lunch. The ballroom was filled with hundreds of people. Huamin went downstairs to change his clothes and remove his makeup. Chin Chu went into the VIP lounge, and Assistant Yang immediately poured him a glass of water. Sir, thank goodness you're back. Do you know how worried I was? I can't contact you no matter how hard I try. I can't get through to your phone at all. I can't even get through to your hotel's landline either. It's too strange. Chin Chu took a sip of water and said indifferently, someone is messing with us. The communication has been cut off. That was so close I almost peed my pants. Luckily a young lady is here. Alright, speaking of a young lady, she's really amazing. She managed to pull in 2 big shots in half an hour. Did you see that? Mo Schwer and Ni Yang have both signed contracts with us. I still can't believe it. Assistant Yang praised Huamin to Chin Chu. This was indeed to Chin Chu's liking. He even had a slight smile on his face. My wife is naturally very powerful, he said proudly. But boss, you're even scarier. How did you get those 2 foreigners? Although I've never seen a vampire count before, I feel like they should be very popular. The reporters are going crazy. They're about to step on my shoes. Assistant Yang lowered his head. He had lost control of himself at the event just now. The reporters wanted to rush up to them, but Assistant Yang and the others from the company stopped them. In the end, they were almost trampled to death. Luckily, the opening ceremony was a success. Qin Chu didn't say anything. He just leaned back on the sofa tiredly and closed his eyes. He hadn't slept much for the past few days. He had to worry about both sides. This time he even flew back directly. Even if he was made of iron, he wouldn't be able to take it. Seeing that his boss was tired, Assistant Yang tactfully turned around and left, closing the door behind him. At this time, Huamin had just finished changing and came over after removing his makeup. "Where's he?" "My boss is resting inside." Huamin nodded and gently pushed the door open. What she saw was Qin Chu leaning against the sofa and falling asleep. His eyelashes were slightly curled. His hands were on his knees, looking very reserved. Thinking about it, he was only 27 years old, but he had to shoulder a financial group. It must be hard for him. Huamin's heart ached as she walked over. She picked up a blanket and gently covered Qin Chu with it. Then she turned around to leave, but Qin Chu grabbed her arm. "Honey, don't go," he said gently. Chapter 621. Huamin turned around and saw that Qin Chu had already opened his eyes. "You must be tired. Get some sleep, I'll go out and take care of some other things for you. Don't come here and sit down." Qin Chu gently pulled him over. Huamin was immediately pulled over to Qin Chu's side and he fell onto the sofa. Qin Chu raised his hand and wrapped it around Huamin's shoulder. "To be honest, I should have expected those artists to stand you up, but I didn't think that they'd cut off all communications. I also didn't think that idiot Yang would come looking for you at such a critical moment. You've never dealt with company matters before, so I'm sorry for troubling you." "It's not troubling, it's family matters. What's there to be troubled about?" Huamin smiled slightly. "Yang, I heard that he's a patient that you've been treating recently. He was only able to sign the contract because of you. How should I thank you, honey?" Qin Chu looked at his wife lovingly. "How did you know?" "I thought our hospital did a good job of keeping it a secret." Huamin chuckled. "No matter how good it is, it can't escape my eyes. But I'm curious, you must have asked Huasiqian for Mo Schwecker to come, right?" As expected, nothing could escape Qin Chu's eyes. Huasiqian and Mo Schweiger's relationship was well known to everyone. Huamin lowered his head guiltily. "Yeah, and Yang wasn't confirmed before, so I had no choice. We can't have a single superstar, so I asked him for help. It was an emergency, don't be mad." Huamin knew that Qin Chu disliked Huasiqian even more so than Suyu. "I'm not blaming you, I just wanted to ask, what did you agree to in exchange for his help?" Qin Chu gently stroked Huamin's hair. He couldn't help but worry that this fool had made an unfair exchange with Huasiqian. "It's nothing, I just agreed to help him deal with Hu Jinghai. That's what I came back to the Hu Corporation to do anyway. Since we both have the same enemy, it's not like we can't work together." As for Huasiqian's real request, Huamin kept it a secret. She didn't dare to say that she was going to the Hu family this weekend, let alone spend the night there. Although he didn't know what Huasiqian was up to, based on Qin Chu's personality, he definitely wouldn't be able to remain calm if he found out. Qin Chu nodded, clearly believing Huamin's words. "Don't look for him in the future. Negotiating with him is equivalent to signing a contract with a demon. It's very dangerous." "Is that necessary?" Huamin felt that he could still experience how terrifying Huasiqian was. However, Mr. Qin always made him sound terrifying. However, since Mr. Qin was never wrong, it was always better to be careful, of course. "Then I'll be careful from now on." "Okay." Huamin nodded. Then Qin Chu received a call to deal with the incident in T-City. Huamin, on the other hand, went out to look for Ni Yang. However, she happened to see Ni Yang being scolded by his manager in the dressing room. When Ni Yang saw Huamin, he felt as if he saw his savior. Sister Ingzi was his savior. She saved him from the swamp, so he didn't have the heart to argue with her. Instead, he listened to her. "Sister Huamin, Sister Ingzi, what's going on? You're just in time. I was just about to look for you. What did you do to Ni Yang? Why did you suddenly sign with GK? You're crazy. Also, did you earn a lot of commission from this deal? What did GK give you in return?" Ingzi was so angry that her face turned red. Ni Yang signed a 1-year contract with GK behind her back. How was she supposed to explain this to President Su? She was the one who promised to go to Imperial Star. Therefore, when Ingzi saw Huamin, she was immediately enraged. I didn't take a single cent, Huamin calmly explained. Who would believe that? Why would you encourage An Yang if you didn't get anything in return? I didn't encourage him. GK offered him the same benefits as Imperial Star. You don't have to tell me the pros and cons. I've been in this industry for so many years, do you think I don't know? Sister Ingzi continued to go crazy. Finally, An Yang couldn't stand it anymore. He calmly interjected, Sister Ingzi, Huamin is President Qin's wife. President Qin's wife? Do you think she's that great? President Qin? Which President Qin? GK's President Qin Chu's wife, An Yang continued to explain. Sister Ingzi immediately fell silent. She then looked at Huamin in disbelief as if she was looking at a monster. Chapter 622. How is that possible? Ingzi couldn't believe it. Huamin didn't look like anything special. She wasn't beautiful and she didn't come from a rich family. But why was she Qin Chu's woman? Oh no, she wasn't just a woman. Most importantly, she was President Qin's wife. So don't worry with my relationship with him, I won't mistreat An Yang. Since An Yang calls me sister, I'll definitely ask my husband to create a bright future for him, Huamin promised with a smile. Ingzi still couldn't digest this shocking news. Before, when she saw Huamin driving an Audi R8, she didn't even bat an eye at it. She thought that she was a mistress of some rich old man. That was why she was biased against Huamin. Little did she know that she was the legitimate daughter-in-law of a rich family. If that was the case, then An Yang wouldn't have a problem signing with GK. Most importantly, Huamin still had a chance to cure An Yang's illness. Just then, Huamin glanced at An Yang. You must be tired today, go home and get some rest. I've talked to the company and they're giving you a week off. During this time you won't be accepting any events. Rest well at home where you can go out and have fun. If you're bored you can come find me at Southside and talk to me. Thank you, Sister Huamin. Without realizing it, An Yang's face was filled with smiles. Then Huamin looked at Sister Ingzi. Don't worry, as An Yang's manager, you still have all of your rights. The company will communicate with you in advance if there's anything. However, I suggest that we don't give him too much work this year because he's still recovering from his illness. In the second half of the year, we'll only give him one big movie with Immerse as the male and female leads. It'll definitely be very popular and it'll be released at the end of the year. Not only will it be good for his reputation, but it'll also be a box office hit. What do you think? Sister Ingzi looked at Huamin for a while and sighed. It's a shame that someone like you isn't a manager. That's not where I want to be. I like hospitals and the smell of formalin. After patting Ingzi's shoulder, Huamin turned around and left. Sister Ingzi, understand me now, right? Huamin is a very reliable person, she won't cheat me. Since everyone offered the same price, why didn't I choose GK? Imperial Star is good, but people keep saying that I'm having an affair with President Su. It's annoying, but this way we can stop the rumors. You little brat, why didn't you tell me earlier that Huamin is President Qin's wife? I just found out when I was drunk that day. And Yang felt wronged. Okay, let's not talk about you. Didn't you hear what Huamin said just now? Get some rest. Okay. And Yang nodded, and then the two of them left the company. After comforting Yang, Huamin went to find Immerse. Because they were in a rush this morning, they didn't talk much. She helped him a lot, so he had to thank her. Immerse had just finished removing her makeup and was sitting in the dressing room playing with her phone. Of the two assistants, one was massaging her shoulders and the other was massaging her legs. They looked like big shots. Of course, they looked like big shots. Apparently, when they walked the red carpet together at Cannes, Annie Leong only gave Immerse 3 seconds of screen time, but Immerse gave her a full 2 minutes. It was obvious who she was. Miss M, can we talk? Huamin knocked on the door. Immerse looked up and smiled when she saw Huamin. Sure. Chapter 623. Seeing this, the two assistants immediately backed out of the room. Huamin walked over and leaned against the dressing table. Thank you for your hard work today. Since I signed a contract with GK, it's my job to walk the red carpet. A young lady, you don't have to worry about it. After chatting for a while, Huamin realized that not only was Immerse pretty and elegant, But most importantly, she was well-mannered. She was just as well-mannered as those young ladies from prestigious families, and she spoke with elegance. Her expressions were just right. She wasn't arrogant, pretentious, humble, or pretentious. However, no matter how outstanding she was, she couldn't marry into the Hua family. Hua Min didn't think that Hua Zhenghai had the power to stop Hua Xiqian from marrying the woman he loved. In the end, Hua Xiqian himself was the reason. If you have any requests in the future, the company won't mistreat you. Although I'm not an employee of GK, I have absolute authority. I signed you and Ni Yang at a critical time, so I won't let you down. Trust me. Hua Min was sincere, so his words were a promise. Mo Shui only smiled when she heard this. Shi, you should know why I came. I don't care about money, I have both fame and money. You know that I originally wanted to go to the States to pursue my career. I know. Hua Min nodded. But one phone call from him changed all my plans. Mo Shui continued to smile. You and him, you two? Hua Min wasn't good at prying into other people's privacy, but Mo Shui's ambiguous words made him unsure if Hua Xiqian and Mo Shui were still in a relationship. We've never been together, huh? Hua Min was completely shocked by her words. Could it be that the rumors outside were all false? However, there were pictures of Mo Shui staying in Hua Xiqian's mansion for 3 consecutive days. Don't be surprised. What I mean is, we've never been in a relationship. We're just partners in bed. Hua Min didn't say anything. He just looked at her quietly. But I'm not a good bedmate because I'm in love with him. Mo Shui smiled bitterly and took out a pack of cigarettes. Do you mind? Mo Shui asked Hua Min. Hua Min shook his head. Do you want one? Hua Min still shook his head. Mo Shui put the cigarette in her mouth and took out a lighter to light it. Then she took a deep breath and laughed. I know he doesn't love me, but I'm still willing to do anything for him. This is probably the most foolish thing about us women. It sounds like your story is quite sad, Hua Min said softly. Sad? No, not at all. To this day I still have to thank him. Without him I wouldn't be where I am today. I came from an ordinary family and only participated in the new star auditions because I was lucky. He happened to be there and asked me if I wanted to be famous. I said yes, and he supported me for 7 years without hesitation. In these 7 years I went from a small-time actress to an international star and experienced a lot. Without him I would never be where I am today. No matter how he treats me, I'm still grateful to him. It was obvious that Mo Shui had deep feelings for Hua Xiqian. It's not easy to know how to be grateful. You're a sentimental woman. Hua Min looked at her. Maybe. A while ago he told me to go to the States, leave this place and never come back. I don't want to leave, but I don't want to reject him. Now that he's telling me to go to GK, I'm here. Thank you for coming to GK, we won't let you down. Hua Min was obviously referring to her and Qin Chu. No, I don't care about other people's attitudes. I just don't want to disappoint him. Mo Shui finished her cigarette and threw it on the ground to extinguish it. There's something I'm curious about, Mo Shui said. What is it? Hua Min looked at her. Why is he so nice to you? Mo Shui looked at Hua Min and asked. Chapter 6:24. Hua Min's heart skipped a beat, and then she gulped. To be honest, Mo Shui's words made her feel a little guilty. As for why she felt guilty, she didn't know either. Maybe because I'm her little sister, Hua Min forced herself to answer. How is that possible? You're both her little sisters, but she treats you so differently from Hua Yanyan. Mo Shui's expression became complicated. Maybe it's because we're on the same side. You should know that the Hua Corporation's internal strife has already begun, and I am already on his side. Really? Maybe that's why. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyways, there are benefits to staying here. GK is a huge financial group and I'm sure the future will be exciting. Definitely. After talking to Mo Shui, Hua Min walked out with a heavy heart. Mo Shui was willing to sacrifice her future just for Hua Xiqian's words. So why did Hua Xiqian use so many resources just to invite her back to the Hua family for one night? The answer seemed to be on the verge of popping out. However, Hua Min didn't dare to think about it, because it didn't make sense. Even though they weren't related by blood, they were still siblings in name. Could Hua Xiqian be? A young lady. Yang interrupted him. Yeah. The president told me to tell you to go downstairs. He's waiting for you. Okay. Huamin nodded, then turned around and walked downstairs. News of a young lady's efforts to turn the tides had already spread. Everyone at GK was talking about this. Even though Qin Chu hadn't publicly introduced Huamin's identity, everyone already knew what was going on. On the way, many employees happily greeted Huamin. "Ho, a young lady. Good afternoon, a young lady. A young lady." Huamin nodded at them one by one. She met someone she knew. The man who flirted with her at the bar gave her his business card and showed off that he was from GK. If Huamin remembered correctly, that person should be called Wang Tao. When Wang Tao saw Huamin, he was scared to death. With him was a male colleague from the department, 2 people. "Hello, a young lady." The colleague immediately greeted her. Wang Tao felt quite awkward and lowered his head as he said, "Hello, a young lady." Huamin smiled. "Are you used to working here?" Wang Tao was stunned. Then he nodded. Very good. I'm used to it." "That's good. Work hard." Just then the elevator arrived. Huamin walked into the elevator. Wang Tao was still scared out of his wits. When Huamin came downstairs, he was still in shock. "Wang Tao, do you know a young lady?" the man asked. "No." Wang Tao immediately denied it. "Then why did she ask you?" "Maybe it was random," Wang Tao said guiltily. Perhaps the thing he regretted the most in his life was hitting on her at the bar. If Huamin said anything, he would be fired at any time. If that happened, the job that he worked so hard for so many years would be gone. However, a young lady didn't. This made him feel a little relieved. He swore that he would never hit on her at a bar again because he never knew who he would piss off. When Huamin came downstairs, he saw Qin Chu's Maybach parked at the door. "Honey, where are we going?" "Get in first. I'll let Xiaoyang drive your car home later." "Okay." Huamin smiled. He opened the door to the passenger seat and got in. "Honey, I'll take you to Yunding Mountain for a couple of days this weekend, okay?" Qin Chu said as he drove. "Not this weekend." Huamin immediately rejected. "What's wrong?" Qin Chu tilted his head and looked at her in confusion. Chapter 625. I might have to work overtime this weekend. In the end, Huamin chose to lie. She didn't want Qin Chu to know that she agreed to Hua Xiqian's personal request for the benefit of the company. Although the request wasn't too much, she didn't dare to tell Qin Chu. "Oh, next week then, it's fine." Qin Chu didn't think too much about it. The two drove for around 20 minutes before arriving at a spicy crayfish restaurant. It wasn't big, but the decor was very stylish. It looked a bit like an ancient inn and was completely built with wooden planks. "Crayfish? You like crayfish?" Huamin and Qin Chu had been together for a long time, but Qin Chu didn't like crayfish, so she was a bit surprised. "Someone's treating." Qin Chu smiled mysteriously. Then he held Huamin's hand and walked into a private room. There were 3 people sitting inside. One of them was the owner of Seductive Fox, Rick. The other 2 were the international superstars Christina and Andrew, who were the finale of the show. "Hi. Qin Chu, come sit over here." Andrew enthusiastically greeted Qin Chu. "Let me introduce you, this is my wife, Huamin." Qin Chu introduced her in fluent American English. Huamin smiled slightly and replied in fluent English, "Hi, my name is Huamin, nice to meet you." Then the 2 sat down. Then Huamin was surprised to find that these people were all conversing in American English. The good thing was that she learned all the spoken languages in high school, so it wasn't difficult at all. But the only awkward thing was that these people were all speaking American English while Huamin didn't go abroad, so she was speaking Chinglish. It was a bit funny. Christina held Huamin's hand intimately and kept praising it in English. "You have so many delicious dishes here. I like crayfish very much and dumplings. They taste very good and leave a lasting aftertaste." Huamin smiled and replied, "If you like it, eat more and stay for a few more days. No, we still have a lot of things to do. If Qin didn't give us a chance this time, who knows when we'd be able to come here. It's nice to meet you." Although Christina was a superstar, she was still younger than Huamin. Because Americans matured early, she debuted at the age of 16 and shot some magazine advertisements. Now she was only 21. Young and beautiful, she took out her phone and enthusiastically took selfies with Huamin. She even said to Qin Chu, "Your wife is amazing. You're so lucky." Qin Chu smiled happily. "Indeed, marrying her is the best thing that happened to me in my life." Rick sat beside Qin Chu and whispered, Wang Dahai has been caught and is on the way back to China. What do you plan to do with him? Let's catch him first. I have something to ask him. Okay. Rick was a man of few words, but he was very efficient. Andrew was Chin Chu's good friend for many years, so he was not unfamiliar with him at all. The three men chatted in American English. Chapter 626. Where are you? I want to go too. I love Christina the most. Also, why are you with her? You're so shameless. Why didn't you call me when something good happened? Our friendship is going to capsize. Zhu Lingling was the first to comment. Haha, didn't you watch GK's opening ceremony today? I even walked the red carpet, Huamin asked back. I watched the live broadcast, but which one was you? Zhu Lingling was confused. Screw you. Zhu Lingling had been friends with him for years, but she didn't recognize him. He was speechless. Cut the crap and get me an autograph. Quick, quick, quick. No, I'll embarrass myself if I get an autograph right now because we're eating crayfish together. I'm so jealous. I'm in Y City right now, or else I'd be looking for you. You're freeloading off a celebrity. Andrew is so handsome, I really want to sleep with him. As soon as she finished commenting, Gao Ran immediately replied, if you don't have a diamond, don't try to make porcelain. Can you even handle his size? How can I not handle it? It's still better than your 3-inch sausage. Huamin was speechless as he quietly replied, you two are so dirty and you even know his size? When did you two start flirting? Don't listen to her nonsense, I didn't touch her. Gao Ran immediately tried to clear his name. Bullshit, you didn't touch her. Last time at the hotel, did you fucking hug a husky? Zhu Lingling was furious. Huamin held onto his phone and laughed out loud. Chin Chu turned his head and looked at Huamin. What are you so happy about? Huamin didn't say anything. He picked up his phone and showed it to Chin Chu. Chin Chu also smiled. Gao Ran and Zhu Lingling were a pair of clowns sent by monkeys. It would be a waste of his talent if he didn't go into crosstalk. This meal of crayfish was very enjoyable. Huamin only cared about taking photos and chatting with Christina. When he turned around, Chin Chu had already peeled off a lot of crayfish meat for Huamin. When Huamin saw the white crayfish, he immediately had an appetite and ate a few. Chin Chu gently picked up a tissue and wiped her mouth as if he was taking care of a child. Andrew chuckled and said in English, if I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, it would have been hard to imagine that Chin could have such a gentle side. I remember the first time I saw him at Harvard. He was as cold as the South Pole. Rick smiled and replied, that depends on who he is with. To his wife, he will always be the best husband. Christina said enviously, Andrew, if you treat his wife like how Chin treats his wife, I'll marry you. But I'm not going to propose to you. Andrew smiled. Anna turned around and hit Andrew with a smile. The atmosphere was very lively. Huamin suddenly felt emotional. No matter how big of a celebrity she was still just a normal person. She could cry, laugh, and make a fuss. When they were really together, she was still very approachable. After dinner, the group went to Rick's place for karaoke. On the top floor of Seductive Fox, as Huamin was walking down the hallway with Anna, he was suddenly startled by Tang Chuan rushing out. Goddess, can you give me an autograph? Anna was so scared that she immediately hid behind Huamin. Don't be scared, he's my friend, Huamin introduced him. Head nurse, hurry up and tell her that I'm a big fan of hers. Tang Chuan was impatient. If Wei Liao hadn't stopped him today, he would have already done it. During the opening ceremony, he already wanted to rush over. Tang Chuan, does your mom know that you're kissing up to that foreign girl? Not far behind him was a teasing Wei Liao. Next to him was Suyu, who was wearing a white Versace. Looking at Suyu, Huamin stopped smiling. Chapter 627. Ever since she posted that post on her WeChat friend circle, many people had privately messaged her to ask for autographs from the two international superstars. Even Huang Yu and Jixin, those two little fresh meats, couldn't escape the attention. Huamin regretted posting those photos to show off. It was better to keep a low profile and avoid trouble. However, she didn't think that even a rich playboy like Tang Chuan would be obsessed with Christina. It seemed like she had to go back and see which vampire count he was. He must be very good looking, or else everyone wouldn't be so crazy about him. Christina, they're all my friends. Can I get your autographs? Huamin turned around and asked in English. Head nurse, your English is pretty good, Tang Chuan flattered with a smile on his face. Huamin ignored him and directly talked to Christina. As soon as Christina heard that they were Huamin's friends, she no longer had any concerns. In the luxurious hallway of Seductive Fox, Tang Chuan took out his phone and took photos like crazy, then posted them on his WeChat friend circle to show off. Wei Liao couldn't help but come over to take a photo with Christina. "Lord Su, are you coming or not?" Wei Liao smiled at Su Yu. Of course, Su Yu wasn't interested in Christina at all. All of his attention was on Huamin. He walked over and looked at Huamin. This girl sure is capable signing two superstars at once. She's slapping me in the face. It's just fair competition. Plus, you cut off Qin Chu's communication with HQ, isn't that cruel? Me? Cut off communication? Su Yu froze slightly. Wasn't it you? Huamin froze again. No, I'm not that bored. If I hired a hacker, I would have hacked today's livestream so that no one could see what happened. You're right. Huamin had to think carefully. Other than Su Yu, who else would do something to GK and Qin Chu? I didn't do it, I won't take the blame, Su Yu explained. Ha! Huamin laughed. What are you laughing at? Su Yu was speechless. You make it sound like you're the scapegoat all the time. Huamin laughed. I didn't before, but ever since you appeared I've been wronged, Su Yu said honestly. It seems that my presence in your life make you look unlucky. Huaz's teased Christina. Christina, 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 and Christina, 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 Christina's Christina, Christina, and Christina for Christina, 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 Christina. Su Yu was rarely this emotional, so Christina didn't want to continue the conversation. She didn't want things to get awkward again. Before she could say more, Rick walked out. It's time to go in, everyone's waiting for you. Rick glanced at Huamin and then looked at Su Yu. Okay. Huamin held onto Anna's hand and walked into the private room. Huamin, remember to give me Anna's contact information. I'll go to the States to see her soon, ha. Tang Chuan shouted proudly. Huamin ignored him. Su Yu didn't look away until Christina entered the private room. Rick walked over from the door and greeted him. Young Master Su? Mr. Rick, you seem to be very close to President Qin. Su Yu had noticed their relationship a long time ago. If Qin Chu went out to play, he would go straight to Seductive Fox. However, Su Yu and the others were different. They went to all the nightclubs in Sea City and they even went to many private clubs. The most suspicious thing was that when Zhou Guangming got into trouble here, the Zhou family erased the video, but Qin Chu was still able to get his hands on the full version. This could only mean that Seductive Fox gave it to him. Su Yu knew this very well. Therefore, he was certain that the boss of Seductive Fox had a special relationship with Qin Chu. Chapter 628. He's an old friend I met in the States. Rick didn't try to hide anything. Oh, no wonder. Wei Liao suddenly realized what was going on. Rick and Qin Chu were both low-key tycoons. They had plenty of money but they never flaunted it. After all, Rick's family was involved in shady businesses. After chatting for a bit, Rick turned around and returned to Qin Chu's private room. After singing for a while, they left Seductive Fox. Qin Chu took Huamin home. Honey, even though they're friends, we can't let Andrew and Anna come here for nothing. We have to pay them, Huamin reminded him. Don't worry, I've already arranged everything. They won't take the money. I prepared a bunch of Chinese porcelain for them to take away. Anna always said that she likes you. Qin Chu smiled proudly. Anna's a great person too. She's passionate and unrestrained. It's true that Americans are cheerful and have good personalities. Huamian smiled. Qin Chu drove all the way back to South Hill Manor. Even though it was midnight, South Hill Manor was still brightly lit. The security guards at the door took turns 24 hours a day. When Uncle Lee saw them, he immediately walked up to them. Sir, would you like supper? Qin Chu turned around and looked at Huamin. Are you hungry, honey? Huamin shook her head. Then I'll tell the kitchen to bring out the sweet soup for Madame. Uncle Lee turned around as he spoke. Huamin happily held on to Qin Chu's hand. It's so nice to have you at home. Then I'll take you with me next time. Qin Chu lovingly raised his finger and tapped the tip of her nose. I want to, but Southside has been too busy lately. Ever since Deputy Director Gui's accident, there hasn't been an acting director. President Wu sometimes comes over for meetings, but he has a lot of stuff to deal with. Anyways, it's a headache. Don't work so hard. Work is unlimited, so is health. I know. The two of them sat in the living room and drank some sweet soup before going upstairs. As soon as Huamin came out of the shower, he saw Qin Chu pick up his jacket and put it on. Are you going out? I have something urgent to deal with. Go to sleep first, honey. All right. Huamin was a little disappointed. Qin Chu had finally returned, but he had to leave again. Good girl. Qin Chu kissed her forehead and turned to go downstairs. After Qin Chu left, Huamin lay on the bed, exhausted. Everything that had happened today felt like a dream. She actually resolved GK's public relations crisis. Ni yang mo shui. Now that he thought about it, he was really lucky. At that moment, Wu Xiaoxue, who had been silent for a long time, suddenly sent a WeChat message to Huamin. It was a smiley face. Huamin immediately replied with a grinning emoji. I went into labor prematurely. I gave birth to my daughter last night. She's very small, less than 2 kilograms, but she's very healthy. Huh. She's only 7 months old. Huamin was stunned. That bitch He-Man came to my house. She's pregnant too. He came to provoke me, so I ended up fighting with her. In the end, I went into labor prematurely, but she wasn't any better. She also had a miscarriage. Huamin's heart skipped a beat. Then he asked anxiously, what about Ning Ziyuan? What did he say? He came by last night, took one look at the baby and then left. I think he went to find another woman. Aside from He-Man, he also hooked up with a young model. She's born in the 90s. Xiaoxue, it's been hard on you. Huamin really sympathized with Wu Xiaoxue at that moment. Wu Xiaoxue sent a 2-second voice message with a bitter smile. Chapter 629. Huamin, do you believe in karma? I think it's karma that brought me to where I am today. When I was with Ning Ziyuan, you guys hadn't completely broken up yet. At that time he hooked up with He-Man and then me. I naively thought that he loved me, that we were true love, and that you were already in the past. Now that I think about it, how ridiculous was I? You've already jumped out of the fire pit and I foolishly jumped in. Actually, he wasn't like this in the past. Maybe he was provoked later on. Huamin had been trying hard to recall their university days. Ning Ziyuan was really good to her. Otherwise, why would she have the idea of marrying him in the first place? As for why things turned out this way, Ning Ziyuan said that Huamin provoked her. However, Huamin didn't make him visit prostitutes, find mistresses, go to bars, or be a scumbag. In the end, he had to walk his own path. A man who blamed all his mistakes on a woman was destined to have no future. You're wrong. Maybe he was always like this, but he hid it too well when he was with you. Distance tests a horse's strength, and time reveals a person's heart. After we got married, we were together every day. Of course, I know what his true nature is. I just pity my daughter. Then what are you going to do now? Huamin asked worriedly. Divorce. After I'm done with my confinement, I'll sue. Does your family agree? Yes, my uncle has already decided to fire him because he's no longer useful in the ophthalmology department. He can't even perform a basic surgery. He drinks himself to death every day and drives around in my BMW to attract women, Wu Xiaoxue said angrily. You're still in confinement. You have to take care of your body. Don't get angry. It'll be difficult to treat if you get sick. I know. Then Wu Xiaoxue said, Huamin. Yeah. I'm leaving. Where are we going? Huamin was stunned. He didn't expect Wu Xiaoxue to ask such a question. After my confinement, I got divorced and went abroad with my daughter. I want to settle down in Seattle. My father bought me a house there. My parents left with me. I don't want to stay in this sad place. Compared to living abroad, I can start over. That's good too. With your aptitude, you'll have a better life there, and your children will also have a better education. Yes, I think so too. Before I leave, let's meet. I'm very grateful to you for saving our lives. Okay, give me a call when the time comes. All right, then rest early. Goodbye. Goodbye. Huamin said goodbye to Wu Xiaoxue and hung up the phone with a heavy heart. Time flies. Wu Xiaoxue was so arrogant when she first came to the hospital. Because she listened to He-Man's instigation, she made things difficult for Huamin. At that time, Huamin was really annoyed by her. He thought she was crazy and had a temper. Now it seemed that Wu Xiaoxue finally saw through everything. She was a woman who experienced a man's betrayal. Her heart was broken and she went through a disaster in her life. In the end, she became a mother. Thinking about it, it wasn't easy. But why did Ning Ziyuan become like this? It seemed like she hadn't seen him in a long time. What kind of man would not even care about his own daughter? Chin Chu drove his Maybach all the way to an illegal clinic in the suburbs. Rick was dressed in a black leather jacket. We were going to escort him to T-City, but we were ambushed on the way. He was shot. The other party came prepared. Chin Chu nodded and walked in. He saw a dying middle-aged man lying on the bed with blood on his chest. Since you're going to die, then tell me who ordered you to do that harmful project? Chin Chu asked coldly, word by word. Chapter 630. No. I can't tell you, the man said with difficulty. Are you going to take the secret to hell with you? Chin Chu looked at him coldly. No. I can't. After the man said these two words, his neck tilted and he stopped breathing. Chin Chu seemed to have expected this outcome. The assassin he sent was very professional and killed him with one shot. The only reason he was able to hold on until Chin Chu arrived was because Rick injected a large amount of cardiotonic into his heart. What? He didn't say it was him? Rick asked. He didn't say anything. The other party probably has something on him, or he's using his family to threaten him, Chin Chu analyzed. Rick nodded. Did you offend someone recently? Could it be Suyu? No, Suyu wouldn't be so despicable. This person is extremely ruthless and doesn't leave anyone alive. He takes lives at every turn. It's not Suyu's style. Then that's troublesome. You're out in the open and the enemy is in the dark, Rick said in a serious tone. It's not troublesome. Seems like he just wants to cause trouble for me. He didn't threaten me physically. I'm more worried about my wife. Rick, when I'm not in the city, keep an eye on her for me. Don't let anyone get close to her. Got it. Rick nodded. If someone wanted to deal with Chin Chu, the best way was to capture Huamin. So Huamin probably didn't know that someone was secretly watching her every day at work. To protect her. Chin Chu really didn't want anything to happen to her. When Chin Chu returned home, Huamin was already fast asleep. He took a shower in another bathroom because he didn't want to wake Huamin up. Then he quietly got into bed and gently hugged her. At that moment, Huamin was deep in her dream. She dreamt that she was standing in a forest. Then a man stood in front of her, but she couldn't see his face clearly. Who are you? Huamin asked. I'm Dad. Dad? Huamin repeated, but it definitely wasn't Hu Jinghai's voice. Who are you? Huamin wanted to walk over and take a closer look at her. However, no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't move at all. Mion? I'm Dad. Then she watched as the man gradually walked away. Dad, don't go. Huamin suddenly woke up. Chin Chu immediately hugged her. Did you have a nightmare? Huamin was panting heavily. I dreamt of a man. He said he was my father. Don't worry, I've been looking for people to investigate your background. I'll definitely help you find them. Chin Chu knew that ever since Huamin found out that she wasn't the daughter of the Hua family, she had been trying to find her family. Unfortunately, the road to finding clues was full of difficulties, and there were always people obstructing them. Moreover, the enemy was in the dark and they were in the light. It was very difficult. Honey, do you think they're already dead? Huamin suddenly thought sadly. Don't worry, I think your mom and dad are both here. Maybe there are other siblings as well? Chin Chu gently stroked her hair and comforted her. The next morning, Chin Chu drove Huamin to work at Southside, and then he got on a plane and flew directly to T-City. The accident hadn't been properly handled, and the person in charge of the Tofu Dregs project, Wang Dehai, had died tragically. Chin Chu couldn't push the blame onto someone who died, right? Therefore he had to do it himself. If there was no other choice, he would take the blame. After all, 4 people died. Including Wang Dehai, 5 lives were lost in this incident. Chin Chu suddenly felt that this hidden enemy was very scary. He was 100 times scarier than Suyu because he could control people's lives at any time. In the blink of an eye, it was the weekend. After work, before Huamin walked out of the door, she saw Hu Xiqin standing in front of the black Porsche. Little sister Mion, isn't it time to leave with me today? Hu Xiqin smiled with a lollipop in his mouth. Chapter 631. Got it. Huamin glanced at Hu Xiqin, then quietly left the house and got into his Audi R8. The two of them each drove towards Huamin's house. The good thing was that Chin Chu was still in T-City. Otherwise, if he was at home, he would never allow her to stay over at the Hua mansion. What kind of people were the Hua family? They were a pack of wolves, tigers and leopards. Half an hour later at the Hua mansion. Huamin took off his white lab coat and put on a simple outfit. However, ever since she married Qin Chu, she had been wearing designer clothes. Today, she wore DG's new Venetian floral dress with a white jacket and a pair of nude pink heels. The heels weren't high, but they were delicate and cute. When Huamin walked in, everyone was slightly surprised. "Me on your back?" Hua Jinghai sat on the European-style sofa in the living room and asked. "Yeah." Huamin's reaction was still cold. "You know that today is Xiqian's birthday? It's rare for so many people to gather together," Hua Jinghai said meaningfully. Huamin froze slightly, then looked at Hua Xiqian. So today was his birthday, but he didn't say anything. Hua Xiqian didn't even buy a present or a cake when she came. This was really awkward. "It's almost time to eat, eh? Where's Yanyan? Is she not back yet?" Madame Hua Jinghai Jianghong asked hypocritically as she sat down beside Hua Jinghai. Hua Si was playing with his phone as he replied, "My sister said her car broke down and she went to the 4S shop to get it fixed. She told us to eat first. Can't she just leave the car there and come back first? This girl is getting more and more ridiculous," Hua Jinghai said angrily. "Did your car really break down? Or did you not want to come out of the bar?" Jiang Hong asked jokingly. Shin Jiani immediately replied, "Sister, what are you talking about? Although Yan Yan is willful, she knows that it's Big Brother's birthday today. She definitely won't mess around. Must be something wrong with the car. Jinghai, Yan Yan's Porsche has been in a lot of accidents recently. Maybe it's because it crashed a few times before. And do as you see fit." "All right." Shin Jiani smiled slightly. She not only helped Hua Yanyan out of trouble but also got a sports car. Her IQ was really unparalleled. One of the biggest reasons why Huamin hated the Hua family was because it was always filled with gunpowder. It was like being on the battlefield all the time. How was it like being at home? Even if it was a $10 million villa, no matter how luxuriously decorated it was, it could not compare to the warmth of their small courtyard in the slums. That was why money couldn't buy everything. "Since Yan Yan isn't back yet, let's not wait anymore. Let's eat, little sister Mion must be hungry," Hua Xiqian said with a smile. Then the group walked to the spacious dining room on the first floor. Hua Xiqian sat next to Hua Jinghai, while Huamin sat next to Hua Xiqian. The rest were Jiang Hong, Shin Jiani and Hua Si. There were 18 dishes on the table. It seemed like the Hua family really valued Hua Xiqian's birthday. After all, they hadn't completely fallen out with each other yet. The maid brought over a few bottles of expensive red wine and poured them one by one. When it was Huamin's turn, she immediately covered her wine glass. "I'll just have a drink, I can't drink. Today is a happy day. It's rare for you to come back for dinner, so drink less." Hua Jinghai's words were like an order not to be rejected. However, Huamin didn't give him any face. "I've been allergic to alcohol recently, so I can't drink anymore. Change it to watermelon juice for me." Huamin looked at the maid and said. The maid seemed to be in a difficult position and looked at Hua Jinghai. Before anyone else could speak, Hua Xiqian spoke first. "Bring me the watermelon juice." "Yes, young master." Upon Hua Xiqian's command, the maid immediately ran over to bring over the watermelon juice and placed it next to Huamin. Then everyone raised their glasses and wished Hua Xiqian a happy birthday. "Little sister Mion, don't you want to say something?" Hua Xiqian tilted his head and looked at Huamin with a half-smile. "I wish you a child soon." Huamin's words made everyone laugh. Chapter 632. Especially the old-fashioned Madame Jiang Hong. "You're such an interesting kid. Your brother isn't even married yet. For someone of my brother's status, women are always throwing themselves at him. It's normal for him to have children before he's married. After all, the Hua family is a big business. It's only natural for us to have children." "Hi, good, you finally said something nice. The Hua family will definitely prosper in the future." Hua Jinghai was very happy as he picked up his wine glass and took a small sip. Hua Xiqian held his wine glass with interest and looked into Huamin's eyes. "Your brother has been very tired lately. It's probably going to be difficult for him to have a child. Wait for me to recover, I'll count on your blessings, sis." During this time, everyone gave him their gifts. "Xiqian, with your current status, you can't drive a Ferrari or a Maserati anymore. I got you a Bentley." The old man handed over the keys to the Bentley. "Thanks, Dad." Hua Xiqian smiled as he played with the keys. The old man was quite generous, he was willing to give him a Bentley. You must have put in a lot of effort. Huasiqian wondered what kind of trap was behind this sweet gift. Jiang Hong took out a bunch of keys and placed them on the table. Then she turned around and said quietly, I bought you a mansion in the new city up north, Fugui Garden. Mom, you love me so much, you know that I like the land at Fugui Garden. When I get married it'll be my new home. Huasiqian smiled. Jiang Hong's eyes were filled with love. Although Huasiqian wasn't her biological son, she treated him like her own. Over the years the mother and son got along very well. Xinjiani nudged Huasi's arm as if to remind him. Huasi reluctantly took out a paper bag and handed it over. Big brother, happy birthday. Because I don't have much savings I can only give you a belt. Thank you, Si. Huasiqian took the bag without opening it, but Huamin could tell from the label that it was a luxury belt worth 70 to 80,000 RMB. Xinjiani took out a brocade box and smiled. Although you don't lack watches, I really didn't know what to buy. So I discussed with Yan Yan and bought this for you. Do you like it? It was an Omega limited edition male watch. Huasiqian glanced at it. It cost about 200,000 yuan. It wasn't cheap but it wasn't expensive either. For Xinjiani it was the most suitable. Huasiqian still had a smile on his face. He took the watch and said, Thank you, Aunt Xin. Also thank you, my good little sister Yan Yan. Huamin remained silent. This group of people really came from rich families. They were indeed different: car, house, watch, belt. Just the few items just now would cost at least tens of millions. She truly felt that it was too extravagant. Just then Xinjiani purposely asked gently, Mian, what gift did you get for Big Brother? Show it to us. Huamin felt a little awkward. She really didn't prepare anything, but it wasn't her fault. Huasiqian, that bastard, didn't tell her that it was his birthday today? Huamin was just about to reply that she didn't buy anything. Huasiqian interrupted. Little sister Mian, I already gave him something. What did this girl give him? Hu Jinghai was quite curious. Jiang Hong also smiled. Must be expensive. After all, our Mian is now GK's a young lady. Huamin could tell that they all knew about her relationship with Qin Chu. No wonder they looked at her differently this time. So that's why. Yeah, how could Qin Chu's wife be stingy? Sister Huamin, show it to us. Huasi sneered. Chapter 633. This is my little secret, so I can't show it to you guys. However, I can tell you that Mian's gift is my favorite, Huasiqian purposely said mysteriously. Upon hearing this, Xinjiani's expression changed slightly. Then she looked at Hu Jinghai and the two of them seemed to exchange glances. After the dinner, Huamin sat on the sofa and ate some fruit. I'll ask the driver to take you home later, Hu Jinghai said, not knowing what was going on. No, Dad, Mian is staying at home today, Huasiqian interjected. Staying at home? Everyone seemed to be a little surprised. Huamin didn't even want to come, but this time he was planning to stay at home? What was the reason for this? Yeah, I'm pretty tired after work today, so I won't be going home, Huamin explained calmly. You're not going home? Will Qin Chu agree? Hu Jinghai was still in disbelief. Dad, my brother-in-law isn't home. You must have heard about the incident at GK's subsidiary company, right? Huasiqian reminded him. Hu Jinghai slapped his forehead upon hearing this. Oh right, I just remembered. Look at me, I'm such a dotard. Mian, how's the situation over there? It's not done yet, Qin Chu is there to take care of the aftermath. Oh okay, don't worry, we're all family. If you need anything just tell me or your brother, will do our best to help you. Huamin wanted to vomit at Hu Jinghai's hypocritical words. Thinking back to last time when Hu Jinghai tried to tear down the old mansion and threatened his mother, Huamin wanted to slap this old bastard. What a hypocrite, what a despicable person. However, he still had to save his face. Therefore Huamin obediently nodded. I got it. After chatting for a bit, everyone went their separate ways. Hu Jinghai liked to stay in his small study and read books and write calligraphy. Jiang Hong was a Buddhist, so she spent most of her time in the mansion's Buddhist temple chanting scriptures. Xinjiani, on the other hand, liked to maintain her health. After dinner she would go for a walk in the garden and trim the plants. Needless to say, Huasi was also a frequent customer of the nightclub. After dinner he couldn't wait to leave and didn't want to stay a minute longer. Before he left, he even told her that he had a friend's birthday today and might be out late, so she didn't have to wait for him. Huamin sneered in his heart. How could he help this ado up? Even if he was given 3 zhuge he still wouldn't be a match for Hu Xiqian. Someone like Hu Si wouldn't be able to survive more than 2 episodes in an ancient palace drama. Hu Min really wondered how Hu Jinghai and Xinjiani had given birth to such an idiot. Young master, Mrs. Room is ready. The maid came forward to report. Ge Myung, come with me. Hu Xiqian put one hand in his pocket and went upstairs. Hu Min quietly followed behind him. Hu Min was a bit worried about Qin Chu, but she couldn't call him in front of them, so she was a bit distracted. She didn't even notice that Hu Xiqian had stopped in front of her. Suddenly she bumped into Hu Xiqian. She bounced back. She was still in the middle of the second floor, so her body leaned back. Hu Min was scared out of his wits. Careful. Luckily, Hu Xiqian grabbed her arm in time. That was close. After standing up, Hu Min was still scared. What are you thinking about? Didn't you hear what I said? Hu Xiqian looked at her, amused. Hu Min didn't say anything. Are you thinking about what to give me as compensation for my birthday? You didn't tell me that it was your birthday, so you can't blame me for that, Hu Min said confidently. What if I ask you for it now? Is it too late? Hu Xiqian stopped smiling and looked at Hu Min seriously. Are you going out to buy it now? Hu Min froze. No, you have what I want. Hu Xiqian stared at her and said word for word. Chapter 634. Hu Min's heart sank. She didn't know what Hu Xiqian was up to. Are you going to give it to me or not? You haven't told me what it is. How am I going to give it to you? It's simple, just a lock of hair. Hu Xiqian reached out to touch Hu Min's hair. However, she brushed his hand away. Why do you want my hair? Do you want it to be a curse? Give it to me. Hu Min looked at him with a dark expression. You have such a wild imagination. It's a shame that you're not a writer. Hu Xiqian couldn't stop laughing. He hadn't laughed so heartily in a long time. Then why do you want my hair? Hu Min felt like it was perverted to ask for someone's hair for no reason. Maybe it was because she read too many horror novels, but she always felt that something like hair shouldn't be given out so easily. Hu Xiqian didn't answer directly. Instead, he turned around and walked to a guest room on the second floor. Then he opened the door. It's very spacious here, you can sleep here tonight. Okay. Hu Min nodded and walked in. She looked around. It was a postmodern mix of black and blue. It was simple and beautiful. To be honest, she quite liked the style. Is there anything else? Hu Min turned around and saw that Hu Xiqian had no intention of leaving. Give me your hair. Hu Xiqian reached out his hand and continued to ask for a birthday present. You didn't even tell me what it was for, why should I give it to you? Don't worry, I'm not going to cast a curse on you. I'm not that perverted, Hu Xiqian explained with a smile. That's not necessarily true. Hu Min obviously didn't want to give it to him. Hu Xiqian walked over and closed the door. Then he whispered into Hu Min's ear, I'm going to take your hair and do a DNA test. You? Hu Min was indeed frightened by his words. Hu Xiqian wanted to do a DNA test for her out of the blue. Could it be that he knew something? Watching Hu Min's expression change bit by bit, it was really fun. Hu Xiqian laughed again. Look at how scared you are. I was just teasing you. What DNA test? Aren't you my sister? Hu Min didn't know what to say. What's wrong? Didn't your Uncle Jing and Dad carry you for a DNA test? What are you afraid of? Hu Xiqian asked. Hu Min suddenly remembered that her mother had told her that not long after she was born, Uncle Jing did take her to Hu Jinghai for a DNA test. The result was obvious, but the Hu family was still unwilling to acknowledge her, simply because she was a girl. If it had been a boy, the outcome might have been different. Everyone knew that Hu Jinghai favored boys over girls. But she was already sure that she wasn't a member of the Hu family, so what was with the DNA test back then? Did Uncle Jing do something to it? But why would he do that? Hu Min was confused. According to the results of her investigation, Jing Da, or Uncle Jing, was the only person who knew the whole truth. He definitely knew exactly what had happened in Dongtao Town back then. But even though he knew the truth, Uncle Jing still accompanied Hu Jinghai to do a DNA test to prove that she was Hu Jinghai's daughter. Why did he do that? Was it for money? It didn't make sense. Later on, the Hu family didn't acknowledge her. All these years, Uncle Jing worked hard to support the family and was very good to her. It probably had nothing to do with money. Hu Min fell into deep thought again. Hu Xiqian reminded her again, Little Sister Mian, Can't we have a nice chat? Chapter 635. I definitely can't give you my hair, Huamin insisted. Is there no room for negotiation? Huasiqian looked at her as if he was wronged. No. So, you're not going to give me a present? You're so stingy. Huasiqian complained. Was Huamin stingy? Of course not, she just didn't prepare in advance. What's your WeChat number? Huamin took out his phone and asked. You want to add me? Huasiqian was immediately interested. Yeah. Huamin nodded, which was rare for him. Huasiqian immediately took out his phone from his pocket, opened the QR code and placed it in front of Huamin. Here. Huamin silently took out his phone and glanced at it. When he saw Huasiqian's WeChat name, he was speechless. Humbly gentleman, was he? Of course not, his WeChat name was so ironic he had no other choice. After it was verified, Huamin sent him a red envelope. Then it said, Happy birthday. Huasiqian smiled in surprise. Oh, there's really a red envelope, I'm so happy. However, when he opened the red envelope he couldn't be happy anymore. 88 yuan 88 yuan, little sister Mion, you're so generous. Huasiqian looked at Huamin helplessly. You're rich, you don't need money, it's just a token of my sincerity. Okay, you're right, I don't know what to say. Although Huamin only gave him a small red envelope, Huasiqian was still very happy. Because Huamin actually added him on WeChat, it seemed like he gained a lot. Go to bed early, I'm going out with my friends. Huasiqian waved his hand. Then he turned around and closed the door. Huamin heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that he hadn't caused any trouble. He had been scared out of his wits. Hair and DNA were all gimmicks, right? Huamin sat at the head of the bed. He was bored to death. This was not his home and there were restrictions everywhere. Because the guest room didn't have a bathroom, it wasn't convenient to take a shower. She didn't want to go out and use the public bathroom, so she could only take out her phone to play. She also chatted with Xu Lingling. Huh. You said you only gave Huasiqian 88 yuan? Xu Lingling laughed maniacally in the voice message. It was very demonic. You're too stingy. Don't forget that she gave you an 8 million yuan bracelet for your birthday. So what? Huamin disagreed. 8 million yuan and 88 yuan is too big of a difference, right? He doesn't need money and I didn't prepare anything else. He kept asking me for more, so I had no choice but to send him a WeChat red packet, Huamin said helplessly. You're a genius, Xu Lingling exclaimed. After chatting with Xu Lingling, Huamin received a call from Qin Chu. Hubby, Huamin greeted obediently. You're such a good girl. Did you do something wrong again? Qin Chu asked. Of course not, why would I? You didn't drink behind my back, right? Qin Chu asked worriedly. I swear. What are you doing? I was bored, I just chatted with Lingling on WeChat. What about you? I just came back from work. How's it going over there? Huamin was worried. It's almost done, I'll be back tomorrow. That's great. Huamin was excited. What? Did you miss me? Qin Chu chuckled. Of course. Yeah, I missed you too. I haven't eaten you in a long time, I really miss your taste. Ahem. Qin Chu's explicit confession made Huamin cough violently. Mr. Qin, can you be a little more reserved? Why should I be reserved? Honey, you'll have to get used to it. Huamin was speechless. Honey, is your period coming? My period is coming in a few days. How about I book a flight back right now? Qin Chu was really in a hurry. If he waited until Huamian's period came, he would be delayed for another week and he would probably go crazy. Chapter 636. Don't joke around. Do you have to be in such a hurry? Of course I'm in a hurry, I don't want to wait a second longer. Although they were on the other side of the phone, Huamin's face still reddened slightly. Qin Chu wasn't a particularly lustful person, but he was still addicted to Huamian. Honey, I'll be back tomorrow. Okay, then I'll get off work early and wait for you at home. Okay. After hanging up the phone, Huamin's heart was still filled with sweetness. The chemistry between her and Qin Chu was always this high. They were each other's most important existences and they cared about each other the most. Although she didn't know how things were going on over there, Huamin believed that Qin Chu would take care of everything. With Mr. Qin's intelligence and wisdom, any problem wouldn't be a problem anymore. Seductive fox Huasichin's friends booked a luxurious private room here. There were more than 30 men and women in the private room, and they were all extremely happy. Suyu and Wei Liao were also there. It was very lively. Suyu and Huasichin sat side by side, drinking and chatting. You seem to be very nice to Huamin, brother Hua. Suyu had a smile on his face. He's my little sister, of course I have to take care of her. Huasichin knew that Suyu was talking about Mo Shui. He helped Huamin and GK, which meant that he was indirectly going against Suyu. The good thing was that Suyu didn't care because Huamin was there. It's your birthday today, why didn't your little sister come? Suyu's words were filled with sarcasm. After all, he knew that Huasichin and Huamin didn't have a good relationship. Or to put it bluntly, Huamin didn't like this older brother of his. Huasichin could hear the sarcasm in Huamian's voice, but he only smiled. My little sister is tired. She wanted to rest after dinner. I just sent her back to the guest room to rest. She's in your house? Suyu was a little surprised. Yeah, the little girl followed me home after work. She had dinner with me and even sent me a WeChat red packet, Huasichin said as he took out his phone to show off to Suyu. Then before Suyu could say anything he added, although it's only 88 yuan as far as I know, there are very few people who can cheat her of her money. Huh. Indeed. Suyu's reply was sour. Why was everyone else so lucky to have Huamin's WeChat? Why didn't he have it? How's President Su doing? I heard that Jian Tong is very popular at Imperial Star. She's not my cup of tea. Suyu picked up a glass of wine and slowly took a sip. Are you still thinking about my little sister? She's married. Huasichin laughed. I don't need you to remind me of that, I've always known. So what if she's married? Can she guarantee that she'll be with Qin Chu forever? I don't believe it. I'll wait for the day she divorces Qin Chu. But I'm afraid that's a little difficult. Chapter 637. Young Master Su, you must be joking. Imperial Star is full of stars, how could a small celebrity like me fit in? Mo Shui was extremely talented, so even when she was talking to a big shot like Suyu, she was still fearless. This was very admirable. Wei Liao and Suyu both smiled. But they didn't say anything. Huasichin hung out with them for a little while longer. Seeing that it was getting late, he left Seductive Fox with Mo Shui. Everyone went their separate ways. Sichin, come to my place tonight. Mo Shui rarely acted coquettishly. Perhaps it was because she drank a lot today, but she wrapped her arms around Huasichin's neck and stuck to him. Not today. As expected, Huasichin rejected her. Why not? Mo Shui was a little disappointed. You never ask why. Huasichin smiled, got into his car and drove away. Think I know. I knew from the first time I saw her. Her eyes are very similar to mine. Though they're even prettier than mine. So, you've always been nice to me because of her, right? Swear, women shouldn't be too smart, it's tiring. Huasichin didn't answer her directly, but he indirectly admitted it. Mo Shui felt extremely uncomfortable, but she didn't show it. They didn't speak the entire way back to her place. Mo Shui still wanted to ask, are you really not coming up with me? It's fine if you don't want to, but can we at least do it? Mo Shui was very direct. What she meant was that he didn't need to stay the night and he could leave as soon as he finished. However, Huasichin still rejected her. Go up, it's getting late. Okay then, be careful. Bye. In the end, Mo Shui reluctantly waved her hand and turned to go upstairs. Huasichin drove off in the new Bentley that old fart gave him. 11:30 p.m. Huamin was actually quite picky with his bed. He was used to staying at Imperial Park, so when he first arrived at South Hill Manor he couldn't sleep. It was because he wasn't used to it. He thought that he wouldn't be able to sleep here, but to his surprise the incense in the house smelled so good. He actually fell asleep in a daze. This kind of smell was something that she, a doctor, had never smelled before. It was a very strange smell. Perhaps she didn't know that the incense lamp contained a unique hypnotic spice. So Huamin fell into a deep sleep. Just then the door opening, Huasichin walked in wearing a white shirt and black pants. Huamian Shi's aunts Huaz's. Master Huahua, as he covered Huahua and Mrs. Huahua Hun finally, Huahua's. Hua, as Su. In Huasu's Hun's Hua alone ins Huahuahi. Standing Huahua's, as T and look Hua's Hun, Utihi. It was such a luxury to let her sleep in the Hua mansion for one night. He was the one who made Mo Shui give up her future in Hollywood in exchange for this opportunity. His request was simple. Huamian could spend the night here alone. Even though he knew that Huamin was fast asleep, she wouldn't know even if he did something. But he didn't. Under the dim moonlight he stared at Huamin's beautiful nose and red lips. Huasiqian felt like something was slowly growing in his heart. Mian, you're great. But how long do I have to wait? Huasiqian's eyes darkened. Chapter 638. Huamin had a very hazy dream. She felt like someone was looking at her in her room, but she couldn't wake up. Morning, Huamin woke up at 6 in the morning and washed up. Then, without waiting for anyone else to wake up, she headed downstairs. She couldn't wait to leave the Hua mansion. She didn't want to stay a second longer. However, to her surprise, she bumped into Hui Yanyan at the door, who had just come home. It seemed like she had just come home and hadn't removed her makeup yet. Her hair was messy and her heels were covered in dirt. "Why are you here?" Hui Yanyan asked impolitely when she saw Huamin. "Why can't I be here? My last name is Huatu." Huamin purposely tried to piss her off. "Dad didn't publicly acknowledge you, but you and your mother shamelessly threw themselves at me. Don't be so loud, we're both mistresses. You're laughing at me like this, it's like the pot calling the kettle black. You're so stupid." After speaking, Huamin didn't plan on paying any attention to her and walked away. However, Hui Yanyan grabbed onto her hair. She didn't hold back at all. Hui Yanyan had been fooling around a lot lately and she didn't come home until late at night. The person she admired the most was Suyu, but she was sure that she had no chance with him. Suyu didn't even talk to her. He didn't even give her a chance to eat with him. When she heard that Huamin was going to marry Qinchu, she was furious. She was so jealous that she went crazy. She was so ordinary and she looked so ordinary. How could she have everything? Hui Yanyan didn't want to admit defeat. In a fit of anger, she lost control and grabbed onto Huamin's hair. Huamin didn't expect Hui Yanyan to actually hit her. She was crazy. Before she could fight back, Hui Yanyan screamed in pain. Huamian turned around and saw that Hui Yanyan had been pushed to the corner by Huasiqian and was leaning against the table. "Let go of me. Don't do things like this again." Huasiqian coldly stared into Hui Yanyan's eyes. "It's none of your business, I'm here to teach that bitch a lesson," Hui Yanyan yelled. As soon as the word bitch left his mouth, Huasiqian tightened his grip. Hui Yanyan couldn't breathe. "Let go. If I see you looking for trouble with Huamin again, you will leave the country immediately. Huasi has learned his lesson after staying in the Philippines for 3 months. Why don't I send you to India? I heard that you can do whatever you want to women on the bus there. With your personality, I'm sure you'll like it." Huasiqian enunciated each word clearly. Hui Yanyan was so scared that her face turned pale. No. Get out, you're ruining my good mood." Huasiqian suddenly let go of Hui Yanyan and Hui Yanyan ran upstairs. "Aren't you afraid that she'll tell the old man what you did to her?" Huamin looked at Huasiqian and asked. Huasiqian picked up a handkerchief and wiped his hands. Then he said nonchalantly, "If I was afraid of this and that, would I have been safe and sound in this family for so many years?" "Ah, you're right." Huamin actually admired Huasiqian. He was an adopted son who had lived in the Hua family for so many years, and his status was as stable as a mountain. "You're leaving so early. You haven't had breakfast yet," Huasiqian said as he looked at Huamin. "I'm not hungry, I'm not eating. But I think you don't want to stay a second longer. Fine, I'm going out too, let's go together. We're both driving our own cars, there's no point in us leaving together, right?" Huamin said helplessly. "Meaning depends on the person. Let's go," Huasiqian said meaningfully before leaving with Huamin. After Hui Yanyan went upstairs, she frantically knocked on the door to the master bedroom. When Xinjiani opened the door in her pajamas, Hu Zhenghai woke up and leaned against the headboard. "Yanyan, what are you doing so early in the morning?" "Dad, Huasiqian wants to strangle me and send me to India." Hui Yanyan was so scared that she started crying and stuttering. "You don't have to do it. With your relationship with her, I don't think she'll help you. I'll think of a way." "Dad, as long as I can be with Suyu, I'll listen to everything you say." Hui Yanyan wiped away her tears and her bad mood immediately disappeared. Hu Zhenghai was good at scheming, and now he had set his sights on Huamin. that was because she was too valuable to be used. Of course, Huamin wasn't easy to talk to and he still had to plan this carefully. Huamin and Huasiqian left the Hua mansion one after another and went their separate ways at a fork in the road. Huamin drove straight to South Side. Just as she arrived at the office, a delivery man came in behind her. Miss Huamin, this is the breakfast that Mr. Huasiqian ordered for you. After speaking, the delivery man placed an exquisite lunchbox on the table.